What's going on, everybody? UCF Jaguar back here with GenJag.com, and this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the Jaguars will be traveling to Minnesota to face off against the Minnesota Vikings in primetime TV on NFL Network. And in this video, we will go ahead and preview this game. So let's get it.
There they go, packing stadiums, the shady spitzes flow. Nuts they go, macadamian they go, so ballistic.
So when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, they are a team that's extremely similarly built to the way the Jacksonville Jaguars are. In the secondary, you have two all-pro cornerbacks out of FSU and Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Rhodes. Both guys are lengthy, both guys are fast, and both guys are extremely physical. You also have speedy linebackers that are sideline to sideline like Telvin Smith and Eric Kendricks. You also have underrated veteran defensive ends such as Calais Campbell and Emerson Griffin. You also had rookie running backs Leonard Fournette and Dalvin Cook. Now, obviously, Dalvin Cook got injured early in the season, but they still had him out there for a few games. And you also, on the offensive side, sticking to that position, you had probably, before the season started, kind of below average quarterbacks in Blake Bortles and Case Keenum. Now, both Blake Bortles and Case Keenum had career years. By far, like I said, by far the best seasons in their careers, and each of them wound up getting pretty big contracts. Now, Blake Bortles stuck with the Jaguars, and Case Keenum went over to the Broncos. And both these teams led their respective teams to their own conference championship game before falling short of their Super Bowl quest. Now, of all teams in the NFC, the Minnesota Vikings are the team that I am most intrigued by, just because, like I said, they both have a very similar roster build. They both run a 4-3 defense. They both are basically built through strong defense and kind of the run game. But mainly I'm fascinated by the way they do with their quarterbacks. Now, really this offseason, both teams had decisions to make. Both teams had to decide whether they wanted to keep their current quarterback they have and sign him to kind of a cheaper deal to be able to build and hopefully lead you to the promised land, or they could go out and sign an expensive free agent quarterback. And obviously they went out and got the most expensive quarterback on the market and a top free agent in Kirk Cousins, and they signed him to a ridiculously big contract, making him the highest paid player in the NFL. And the Jaguars, on the other hand, decided to say, hey, we like the way Blake Bortles was playing toward the end of the season into the playoffs. We think this could be a guy that can lead us to the promised land, so we're going to sign this guy for a cheaper deal and make sure that we can keep the talent around him together intact to be able to be good for years to come. So in 3 years from now, if we look at the Vikings and Jaguars and see that the Vikings went on to win, a Super Bowl while the Jaguars didn't, then we would obviously say, we probably should have signed Kirk Cousins. But if Blake Bortles does wind up leading us to a Super Bowl victory, you can look at it and say, hey, we got this guy on a cheaper deal to go off and win the Super Bowl, while over in Minnesota, they're having trouble signing their own guys as they gave Kirk Cousins so much guaranteed money. So like I said, I'm extremely interested just to see how the Minnesota Vikings do in the next several seasons because, they could have re-signed Case Keenum. If you look at Blake Bortles and Case Keenum's contract, Blake signed a 3-year $54 million deal, and Case Keenum signed a 2-year $36 million deal with the Broncos, and both those average out to $18 million a year. So they're pretty much seen as the same type of quarterback on the free agency market. So now, what to expect out of this game? Doug Marrone basically said today that they're not going to be really scheming or game plan this game. Much like the preseason game 1, this is just more about self-evaluation and seeing what your players got. Now, one good thing about this game that makes it a lot more exciting is how they will be playing the starters more. I would expect the starters to probably play for a quarter and a half. We'll kind of start off with the offense. Now, last game, the offense was only out there for a drive. However, on that drive, they were able to get 15 plays off. They basically ran down the field. They got 15 plays. They went 79 yards down the field and ended in a touchdown. So it was a perfect drive. You had They didn't storm down the field too quick. They got a lot of reps, got to run a decent amount of plays, and after that they said, all right, we're kind of content with the way the offense played, so they sat them the rest of the game, and the second team went out there after that. Now, I would probably expect the offense to maybe get 25 to 35 snaps this game, maybe 2 long drives, or maybe 3 drives if, one of them ends off in like a 3 and out, or maybe only like 6 plays or something like that. We'll see what kind of happens out of that, but I definitely want to see some out of the offense just because there's a lot going on in it, obviously. Now, one thing that's annoying is Jeremy Parnell and Andrew Norwell are dealing with some injuries. Neither of them played last game, and it's not that I necessarily want them to play because I feel like they need to play to get better. Andrew Norwell's an all-pro and Jeremy Parnell is a veteran. However, you saw last game, Blake Bortles got annihilated twice because Jeremy Parnell was out. And Jeremy Parnell is a pretty good piece of the team, and I don't want my starting quarterback getting hurt in a preseason. So that's one thing that's kind of annoying about it, and we'll see what kind of happens there. They haven't declared them out necessarily, but both of them have been doing kind of side work. They did make the trip, so there's still a possibility that they will play. Now, as with every preseason game, like I'm saying earlier, we're not sure if Blake Bortles is our franchise quarterback, so he's always going to be interesting to watch. So I'll definitely keep my eye on Blake Bortles. And also just the wide receivers. Now, my perspective on the wide receivers has kind of changed a little bit through the preseason. I thought Dante Moncrief was definitely going to be the leading receiver. However, I have kind of a different approach to kind of how the receiver game is going to look. I think Keelan Cole is going to be that big, like, boomer bust kind of player. I think he'll be able to go out there and maybe get like a 160, 180-yard game just because he's so good at deep balls. But I could also see him, like, having games with like 30 to 40 yards, That's how I feel about Keelan Cole. And then, I think D.D. Westbrook might actually lead the team in receptions just because I think he's the most versatile weapon out there. You see him run fades. You see him out there on bubble screens. He's really good at moving around traffic in space. And I think D.D. Westbrook lining up in the slot, man, I think he's a really good option for the Jaguars. And I think, like I said, he's the most versatile option. Dante Moncrief, I think he's a good red zone target. He's a big, tall, lengthy guy. So we'll see kind of what we get out of Dante Moncrief. I thought he had a good game last game, showed some physicality. Marquise Lee, we all kind of know what to expect out of Marquise Lee. He's kind of a possession receiver. Needs to work on kind of catching the ball and everything with his hands. But, we kind of know what to expect out of Marquise Lee. And a big wild card is DJ Chark. Now, DJ Chark seems to be getting better every practice. Obviously, he did pretty good last game. And, he's a big, speedy wide receiver who has big play material. Now, the thing about DJ Chark, usually rookies, it's hard to really expect much out of rookies just because wide receivers are a hard position to really start off as a rookie. But this guy could potentially see the field a lot more than expected just because he is a very good blocker. And we are a powerhouse kind of football team that wants to be able to run the ball really well. So he could see some playing time through there, open up the play action a little bit, and see him deep. DJ Chark will always be fascinating, as with any other rookie that you have. Now, when it comes to the running backs, I kind of cringe every time I see Fournette run it just because I don't want him to get hurt. Obviously, our offense runs through him, but, I'll expect him to definitely get several carries this game. Last game, he had 5 carries, so we'll see how many he has this game. One thing I'd like to see more, I'd definitely like to see Corey Grant get some first-team reps and kind of take some reps later in the game and kind of put some in the starting position. But I would also like to see Brandon Wilds and Tim Cook get some carries this game. We only saw that each of them get 2 carries last game. There's a big question about what's going to be going on at that 4th running back spot. So I would definitely like to see some more work out of them, just to see what we got out of them. I'm just interested in seeing that because there's a chance that the Jaguars, if they don't get many reps, they might only be keeping 3 running backs on a roster. Now, when it comes to the defensive side, we'll kind of see what happens here. I'm not as eager to see the starting defense as I am starting offense, just because I know what we have out of Calais Campbell. I know what we have out of Yannick Ngakoue, Telvin Smith, AJ Boye, all these guys. We know what we kind of have out of them, but one thing that's intriguing is Taven Bryan has been practicing. Obviously, last week he did not play at all just because of had some kind of abdominal injury. But if he plays, I'm fascinated to see how he does. You know, is he going to be playing more at the strong side defensive end spot? How much 3 technique is he going to be playing? I really want to see that. And one thing that's unfortunate is Dewan Smoot did not make the trip. He has been really banged up this training camp. Obviously, he didn't play last week, and Dewan Smoot is a kind of a fan favorite, especially on the YouTube platform. And if you're watching me, you probably know about Dewan Smoot, how he has a YouTube channel, so he's kind of become a fan favorite through that. And there's talk that he might not make the roster, which kind of stinks. I think he will make the roster. I thought he played pretty well last year when called upon, but the best ability is availability, and if you're a backup, they want you to be available, and he hasn't been available. I don't really know what's going on with him, but definitely like to see him out there. Now, another player to key in on the defense is Leon Jacobs, who's projected to start in the same linebacker position. I thought he played pretty well last game. He had a couple of good run stops, but one thing I noticed about him is that he was a little stiff. I mean, you could tell just because he was kind of falling down a lot, and if you're not playing loose, you're going to be tripping up a little bit. You know, I'd like to see him be a little more comfortable. There was probably some nerves going on, but definitely want to see a little bit more out of Leon Jacobs. There's also a kind of underground competition, I feel like, in a nickel cornerback position between Tyler Patman and DJ Hayden. So we'll continue to monitor that. Ronnie Harrison, obviously the safety out of Alabama that we drafted in the 3rd round. A lot of fans like him. A lot of fans are interested to see what he has to offer. He didn't flash too much to me last week, only really getting 1 tackle, so we'll get another look at him this coming up game. So that's about it when it comes to the offense and defense. When it comes to special teams, I just like to see our kickoff team do a little better in coverage. To start the game, they had a kick return that went to the 40-yard line, and then later on, they also had a pretty decent return. So I'd like to see more out of this return team, this kickoff team, just because we can't be having that during the season. So yeah, that kind of ends my preseason week 2 preview. Let me know what you guys think of this matchup in the comment section, what you guys are going to be looking out for. I'm really interested to hear from you guys, and I will be live streaming my reactions to this game on Saturday, so make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification button so you know right when I go live. But yeah, once again, thank you guys all for watching the video. This is UC at Jaguar with JenJag.com, and go Jags.